In this episode, I will discuss the West Boulevard Crips and their beef with BPS. The West Boulevard Crips are from the west side of South Central. They have been around for over 40 years. The West Boulevards are on good terms with hoods that claim the neighborhood car and hoods that are in the Rolling O Alliance. The West Boulevards beef with hoods like the Fruittown Brims, BPS, the Rolling 20 Bloods, and the Schoolyard Crips, just to name a few. I covered BPS in my third episode, but the Black Pea Stones, also known as BPS, are a blood set that has been around for over 5 decades. BPS are known for their two main cliques, Baldwin Village, which they call the Jungles, which is known worldwide for being a location used in Training Day, and their other set, that area is called the Biddy. BPS has good relationships with hoods like the Fruittown Brims, the Rolling 20 Bloods, even the Hoovers, with all these gangs sharing most of the same rivals. Some of the BPS rivals includes hoods like the Rolling 30s, neighborhood Crips like Rolling 40 Crips, and the Rolling 60 Crips. Also other hoods like the Schoolyard Crips, the West Boulevard Crips, and the Hispanic gang 18th Street. I gave a brief history of both gangs. Now let's get into some cases. February 7, 2004. Lester, who lived in the Jungles, would be walking at the intersection of Coliseum and La Brea with his cousin Kayleen. Lester seen a man named Jamar in a red car who he knew from living in the Jungles, sitting in his car at the light. As him and his cousin began to cross the street, they heard shots and seen two men on the side of Jamar's car. Lester and Kayleen immediately ran. A witness named Kelly, who was also at the light, seen the whole incident and heard about 9 shots. Kelly got a good look at one of the shooters, and Kelly later went to the police station with the information he knew. At the station, he would pick out a man named Correa as the shooter. The day before the shooting, February 6, 2004, at a now-closed Radio Shack on La Brea, 3 dudes were in the store when a man approached them and said, "Where y'all from, blood?" The 3 men said West Boulevard Crip and told him to run a fade. A Radio Shack employee next said the Crips was rushed by 10 to 15 blood members. The Crips had to remain in the store for their safety. Both incidents were later determined related, as the West Boulevards got jumped and wanted payback. Correa was later arrested and picked up while he was doing another crime. Correa was sentenced to 25 years to life, but this was later reversed. Joanne was driving with Raheem and Victor on November 3rd, 2005. They pulled into a gas station on Adams and Crenshaw Boulevard. Raheem was wearing red. A blue SUV would pull up with 3 men, and one of the men would throw a West Boulevard at them. Joanne would leave the gas station, and the blue SUV followed. Joanne would get to the corner of Crenshaw on 28th Street when that blue SUV jumped in front of her and blocked her off. One of the men got out and started shooting. Victor was shot and became crippled from the shooting. 8 days later, police seen 2 men wearing all blue walking in BPS turf. Police chased them down and seen one of the men toss a burner, which was later recovered, and he was arrested. Joanne and Victor both identified him as the shooter. The shooter was a man named Marvin from West Boulevard Crip. Marvin would be sentenced to life. Around 9 p.m. on November 11, 2008, Kavion and Dion were riding their bikes on Westview Street. A man named William from BPS hopped out his car and asked them where were they from. Both said they didn't bang. William and another BPS member fired over 8 shots. Kavion was shot, but he survived. Both Kavion and Dion picked William out of a photo lineup 3 days later. William was arrested, and a burner used in the shooting was found in his home. Day of the shooting, a BPS member was shot, and it was believed to be by the West Boulevards. So William came to the area to put in some work. William's defense was that it wasn't him because he recently took the burner off a Schoolyard Crip when him and other BPS members jumped him. So it had to be a Schoolyard who did the shooting. But William wouldn't provide a name or identity of the Schoolyard Crip. William was sentenced to 40 years to life. This last case happened on April 1st, 2015. Eugene stopped to get gas at the intersection of La Brea and Adams Boulevard. While pumping gas, Eugene got pressed by 4 men. They asked Eugene where was he from. Eugene responded and said West Boulevard Crip. They got closer to Eugene, and Eugene started to run. Eugene stopped and looked back and made a motion like he had a burner. And then one of the men started shooting at Eugene. The whole thing was captured on the gas station camera. Eugene ran to a nearby store where the ambulance was called. He was shot, but he survived. Eugene said he ran because he was outnumbered and tried to bluff the BPS members by reaching at his waist, but they shot him after. Police got camera footage and recognized all 4 men as being BPS members. Police were interviewing one of the 4 BPS members named Quan and got his side of the story. Quan said that Eugene started it by mugging him and asking him why were they in his hood. An altercation occurred, and that's when the 3 other BPS members stepped in. The shooter was a man named Spencer. Spencer said he only shot because he seen Eugene reach, and he shot for his own protection. Spencer was sentenced to 34 years. This will conclude this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, check out my previous videos.